I'm Adrian Seet and you are watching Nightline. The top stories. Issues related to rising cost of living expected to be the main agenda on Monday. And Indonesia's Mount Semeru erupts, forcing thousands to flee. Thanks for staying with us. The cabinet meeting scheduled for Monday is expected to focus specifically on dealing with the issue of the rising cost of living. Digital Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the matter is expected to be the main agenda for the meeting based on several statements made by the Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim recently. Fahmi said it is also expected that cabinet members will be instructed to give a special focus on subsidies for the people.
Perdana Menteri telah bertemu ataupun bermesyuarat dengan NAKOL, Majlis Tindakan mengenai kos sara hidup, dan NAKOL dan juga agensi-agensi yang berkaitan, kementerian-kementerian yang berkaitan telah diberikan masa 2 minggu, maksudnya minggu depan, satu rangka ataupun kerangka penyelesaian perlu dibawa ke depan.
He said it is expected that several other matters will also be touched on, particularly on the issue of salaries and the accepting of gifts. On Friday, Dato Sri Anwar was reported as saying that his main priority after announcing the cabinet and ministerial lineup would be to call up those who have been appointed for a special meeting on Monday to announce a few new rules. Amongst others, he said the meeting would talk about the way the cabinet members should manage their respective ministries, on how to work together with civil servants, how to make media announcements, and how not to waste government funds. Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said Perikatan Nasional PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has shown disrespect to the institution of the Malay rulers by disputing all appointment process involving the unity government. The Deputy Prime Minister said Tan Sri Muhyiddin and his allies should be embarrassed of themselves for being seen as power crazy to the extent of disputing the decision of the Malay rulers. In a Facebook posting, Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid said Tan Sri Muhyiddin should emulate the DAP, which is more concerned about the country's interests rather than parties or individuals, by moving forward to succeed in the unity government as proposed by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah. The Barisan Nasional BN chief said Tan Sri Muhyiddin needs to respect these appointments, and disputing them is relative of the true face of Tan Sri Muhyiddin and his allies who do not respect the royal institution. The Bagan Dato MP reminded the PN chief that the current government formed is not a Pakatan Harapan PH government, but a unity government based on cooperation between the largest party and other smaller parties that had secured seats in the election. He added that the Bersatu president was being short-sighted in criticizing Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim for holding the finance portfolio when the latter had managed the country's economy successfully in the past. In other news, Kedah BN Communications Director Dato Syaiful Hazizi Zainul Abidin has slammed Dato Sri Muhammad Sanusi Mat Noor, urging the Kedah Menteri Besar to stop questioning the legitimacy and to accept the formation of the unity government led by Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Dato Syaiful Hazizi said Dato Sri Sanusi's statement that an alleged Malay tsunami had occurred in the 15th general election cannot be used as an excuse to criticize the formation of the cabinet, as more than 20 appointed ministers are of the race.
Saranan saya kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Sanusi Muhammad Noor, Menteri Besar Kedah, supaya beliau tidak mempertikaikan benda-benda yang tidak sewajarnya, terutamanya tentang pembentukan kabinet dan kerajaan yang dikatakan beliau ini sebagai sebuah kerajaan dan kabinet luar tadi. Dia perlu faham bahawa kabinet ini dan kerajaan ini telah pun dinilai dan juga dipersetujui oleh kebawah duli Yang Maha Mulia Yang di-Pertuan Agong.
Dato Syaiful also reminded Dato Sri Sanusi to focus on cleaning up the heart of the PN leaders, especially those who keep on harping on DAP and Islamophobia. Restoring investors' confidence and increasing foreign direct investments, FDIs, are amongst the top priorities for the International Trade and Industry Minister, Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz. Two other things topping his list were to ensure that trade remained a robust key growth driver to sustain the country's economic growth momentum and to look at the various bilateral and multilateral trade agreements. In a statement, Datuk Sri Tengku Zafrul said, as the global economy is expected to slow down in 2023, his top three priorities as the International Trade and Industry Minister are, firstly, to ensure that trade remains a robust key growth driver to sustain the nation's economic growth momentum. Secondly, he said Malaysia must restore investors' confidence and increase FDI, which has long been a key building block of economic resilience, providing the nation with one of the largest sources of foreign exchange. And thirdly, there is a need to look at the various bilateral and multilateral trade agreements to ensure that their formulation and/or implementation will be of real value and advantage to participants in the Malaysian supply chain, particularly the micro, small and medium enterprises. He gave his assurances that his ministry would continue to be the focal point in making Malaysia a preferred investment destination and amongst the most globally competitive trading nations. He said even though the 2023 budget will be tabled again in Parliament, his ministry would propose the creation of a special investment fund to attract more high value-added investments that would generate higher-paid professional employment opportunities. The International Trade and Industry Minister also said that he would soon engage with stakeholders of Malaysian trade, both domestically and internationally, to ensure that we maintain or improve our competitive, business-focused trade ecosystem. The Sarawak State Government has proposed that a state trust fund be established under the Finance Ministry to regulate federal government funds and projects approved for Sarawak. Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the move would provide a channel for the federal government to allocate funds to the state in a more systematic manner. Tan Sri Abang Johari had discussed the proposed new approach with Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim during a meeting in the capital on Saturday. He said the Prime Minister has agreed in principle to review the federal-funded development projects in Sarawak.
Bermakna kalau Sarawak mempunyai 4 bilion pembangunan daripada kerajaan pusat, maka 4 bilion itu akan diletakkan di bawah satu trust fund di Sarawak. Dan juga pelaksanaannya kalau boleh ditentukan di Sarawak di bawah Kementerian Keuangan Malaysia. Ini adalah satu pendekatan yang agak baru, tetapi frameworknya akan ditentukan oleh jawatankuasa di antara Kementerian Keuangan dan juga di bawah Perdana Menteri sendiri.
He said this to the media after opening the Sarawak Badminton Association Hall and officiating the Abang Jo Cup 2022 in Kuching on Sunday. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Abang Johari, who is also Gabongan Parti Sarawak GPS chairman, said the appointment of Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadila Yusof as Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister was most appropriate and will surely boost the plantation sector.